What's up? Welcome back. Unless you are new here, then I'm so happy you clicked on today's video. I feel like this is a little bit of a highly anticipated video because I have been sharing with you over the past 6 months that we are on a journey to becoming completely debt-free in 2021. We personally had an 18-month goal to pay off what we owed, and we actually did just that in 6 months. So I'm really happy to share with you our how-to, what we did. But first I want to just add the disclaimer that everyone's financial status is completely different, and not to compare your journey to my journey or anyone else's. I think it's really hard to do, but what you have to do is take the tips and how-tos that you can apply to your own lifestyle and leave what doesn't work for you. So if there's something here in this video that you can try out, adapt to your lifestyle, or maybe it's a new tip that you've never heard before, take it and run with it. If it's something you've tried before, it's something that you know doesn't work for you or that you can't adapt to, then leave it. That's the best advice I can give you with all of your life, but especially with finances, because like I said, we all are in different financial statuses when it comes to how much we make, when it comes to how many bills we have each month, when it comes to mortgage and even debt payments and our just regular normal bills, how many people are in our family, etc., etc. So just take what you can and leave what you don't need. And hopefully, if anything else, this video will be inspiring and encouraging to you, because my husband and I are just two normal people that just decided one random day in September that we were going to go for it. So here's a little bit of our story. If you are new to my channel and have not been following along for the past 6 months, I've been sharing extreme grocery budget challenges here on my channel because that's what we've been doing to pay off our debt. That's a big chunk of it, and I have really enjoyed sharing that with you, and we'll continue to share that with you as we go into the next phase of just kind of where we're working financially. My husband and I have been married for 11 years, and we don't have a lot of debt. We didn't come to the table with a ton of debt because I feel like debt has a very big negative on a marital status. It can become very, very stressful. But me personally, when I turned 18, I did open up a credit card, and my husband and I were dating long distance at the time. And being the irresponsible 18-year-old that was in love with a boy, I bought a lot of plane tickets with said credit card. A few years later, we got married, and my husband was like, "You've only been paying like minimum balance on this?" And I was like, I mean, yeah, I don't really make that much. And plane tickets end up being more than I was making per month that I was spending on plane tickets than I was making. So it wasn't like super smart of me, but in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, once I have a really good job, I'll pay off that credit card really fast. So we had that small debt for most of our marriage. So we didn't have very much of that left, but we kind of carried it with us for almost 11 years. So we had that small debt, and then we had a personal tax debt that most small business owners do have in the first year or two of their business. My husband owned a business for 5 years. The first year we got hit pretty hard. With most small businesses, you don't make much money as an owner the first year or two, but even though your business can show that it's in the black, you can owe taxes. It's pretty crazy how it works out, but we did have some tax debt from that, and then I had some student loan debt. So all in all, we had a total of $35,000 just about that we were carrying along with us. And honestly, we were just making like a little bit above minimum payments just because we were comfortable with it. And I think that's a lot of people who have debt, is that you just become comfortable with it. You're like, well, I'll pay my bills every month, and included in those bills, it'll just be like my debt payments, and eventually they'll be gone. And you do it with what you will with the remaining money, whether you go out to eat or buy nice clothes or have nice cars. Whatever you choose to do with your money is up to you. But I think a lot of us become comfortable with that burden that debt is. Okay, so what made us start and want to just pay off our debt? To be honest, we were out, I think it was Labor Day weekend, and we were talking about what we wanted to do with our future, and you know, do we want to buy a home? Do we want to adopt kids? And we were sitting at dinner, and my husband goes, you know what? I think we should pay off all of our debt and then buy a home. And I was like, okay, let's do it. Before we even get serious about buying a home, let's pay off our debt. So September 20th of 2020, we just decided to go for it, and we decided to be extremely strict. And this is my first tip to give you if you are taking anything away from this, is if you choose to be extremely strict, go with it, put the pedal to the metal, and no, please know it's not forever. You don't have to be super strict and remove everything from your life besides paying bills and buying groceries and maybe putting gas in your car, but that's what we chose to do. We stopped all small buys. I literally ordered nothing on Amazon. We went to spending $30 a week on groceries. We paid our bills and we put gas in our car. And every extra cent we had, we put towards our debt in the first month. To be honest, in the first few weeks, it was really, really hard because you don't realize how many small buys or how many Amazon purchases or how much you buy at the grocery store that's kind of unnecessary until you start creating new habits. So small buys were like Starbucks coffees, convenience store drinks. You know, when you go get gas station, you go in and you get a drink, you might get a snack, going out to eat. That's a really big one for us. We love to go out on the weekends 2 or 3 times. We also loved a random weekday where we would run out to, you know, just grab some food really quickly because we didn't feel like cooking. And also, grocery store was actually very challenging because I had to adapt and be very strategic when it comes to planning our meals. And I will actually list down below a playlist with all of my extreme, you know, grocery budget hauls and extreme meal ideas to fit into a tight budget, because I think you can really adapt and get some great ideas from those videos as well. So we decided between the two of us to be extremely strict. Like I said, this doesn't work for everyone. Some people do like to fit in a once a month date night or to give each person in their family $20 or $30 to spend on small buys every single week. But we decided, you know what, for 18 months, which was our goal to pay off $35,000, we can be really strict, because 18 months in the realm of your entire life is very, very small of a window that you are, you know, going to picture overall. And we thought, you know, if we do this together, if we commit to it, we'll be so, so happy that we decided just to go for it. So that's what we did. Absolutely nothing was spent outside of what we needed to live on every single month to pay our bills, gas to put in our car, and $30 a week in groceries. So how we paid things off so quickly is we did use a few of Dave Ramsey's methods and principles. I will say we have not used them all because, again, we took what we could use and we left what we didn't need. We did do the $1,000 savings, which is step 1. We already had a savings account, but we actually took everything that was above $1,000 and put it towards our first payment. And when it came to payments, we decided to use the snowball method. Now, this can be done one of 2 ways, to my understanding, is you can take payments and roll them into the debt that has the largest amount of interest and try to knock that out first. Because when you think of it, if you're getting penalized in interest, that's going to snowball itself into a higher payoff amount. Or you can pay off the smallest amount of debt first and then continue to snowball those payments into debt number 2, and then when that's paid off, snowball those payments into debt number 3, etc., etc. So for example, if you have a credit card with $1,500 left on it and you are paying $100 a month, let's say you take $1,500 from your savings account and put it on that credit card to completely pay it off, then you take that $100 that you were paying for it and you snowball it into the next payment. Let's say that's a car payment for $250 a month. Now you're taking that $100 plus that $250, and now you have a $350 payment, and you're snowballing it in. This actually works really, really well and really, really quickly when you take the snowball method plus anything extra that you have that you do not need to live on and put it into a payment. If you're being really strict, you can come up with a lot of money really quickly. Let's say you're going to Starbucks 3 times a week and that costs you $20. Every time you go get gas, you get a drink. That might be $20 a month. Let's say every time you go to the grocery store, you're buying $20 to $50 worth of groceries you really don't need. Every time you make a Target run to get shampoo, you're throwing in a t-shirt, and all of a sudden you've just come up with $200 to $300 that you were spending in small buys that you can also snowball towards those payments. Don't get discouraged if the snowballing starts out a little bit slow. It did for us as well. The first couple months, you're kind of finding a pattern, and then it just picks up. It's just like a snowball outside. It starts really tiny, and then all of a sudden you have a big ball to build a snowman. This is something that I feel like can be a little bit of a touchy subject when it comes to finances, but here's the thing. Sometimes working 40 hours a week is not enough. Sometimes 40 hours a week is what we're using to live on. In this day and age, it's really difficult to, compromise that income that's coming in. You're probably already maxed out living on 40 hours a week. So what you're gonna have to do is find a second, a third, or even a fourth income. And this is where my DMs on Instagram blew up, because actually Dave Ramsey shared our payoff post on his Instagram after we shared it early last week. But a lot of people are uncomfortable thinking about taking on a second, a third, or a fourth job. They're so exhausted working 40 hours a week. They have kids, they have different stressors, they might own a home, they have different things they're working on at home. And so thinking of taking on more hours can be really stressful. Another thing is people think taking on more hours means working outside the home. Now for us, my husband decided to work overtime. He's very blessed at his job where he can work as much overtime as he wants, but we also didn't want him to burn out. So he set a certain amount of hours every week, and that's what he did to add a second income to his personal finances. Now for me, it's a little bit more difficult. I work a job that is salary and my hours are fluctuating. So sometimes I might work 60 hours a week, sometimes I might work 50, sometimes I might work 80. It just kind of depends. But typically my weeks run between 60 and 70 hours a week, and that's Monday through Friday. So for me, I don't have the option of overtime. I am set salary and I'm already using up a lot of my weekly hours. So I had to get really creative. Now, if you guys didn't know, the #1 side hustle / part-time job of 2020 was actually social media. So you already have at your fingertips the ability to make money from your phone. It's crazy. Honestly, we're already on our phone. We're already on social media so much that why not make money doing it? Now, like I said, I know this can be kind of a touchy subject. So I actually have 2 YouTube channels. One I started in February of 2019 that I actually don't post to anymore. However, it was already monetized in September 2020 when we decided to, get extreme with our budget and pay off our debt. So I was able to use that little bit of income for my financial status to bring in a second income. But I also have this channel that brings in a little bit of money every single month. So I added to that. And then when it comes to social media and what I do, I was able to add little bits and parts every single month to kind of gather a little bit of a second income. So through YouTube, I've actually been able to reach out even more through social media. That is one benefit of kind of putting yourself out there on the internet, is I've actually worked with a couple companies through sponsored content. They like how I edit, they like how I talk to my audience. So because of that, I was actually hired to do some Amazon edits for their Amazon sellers pages. So I've been able to make money doing that. I have been able to make money off my blog, off YouTube, off Instagram. So even though this is a touchy subject and people don't want to sometimes support the fact that social media is a job and can be made money, and I feel like there's a lot of people that really dislike and are jealous of that, we should be really proud and stand up for the fact that the #1 job in all of the pandemic was the fact that you can make money from your phone just being you and just sharing your life. I have read amazing stories about people that lost their jobs in 2020 that started TikTok accounts and now are making 3 times the money they were at their, jobs that they lost. So instead of, disliking or being jealous of the fact that YouTube and social media can be a flourishing job that you can actually make money on it, we should celebrate the fact that there is a road paved before us, that other people have shown us that this is really easy and really simple and anyone can do it. So like I said, taking on a second or a third or even a fourth income, the more you increase your revenue, the more you're able to pay out. So like I said, for my husband, that was overtime at his job. And then for me, that was social media and marketing and Amazon edits and anything that I could kind of do as like a side hustle through technology and through social media. Another wonderful tip, and this is actually from Dave Ramsey himself, is to live very minimal. If you are living outside of your means, if you have a lot of debt and you have a lot of things, the first thing you should do is sell those things. Now, if you've been around my channel for a while, my husband and I are already super minimalist. We kind of became minimalist when we moved across the country in July 2019. So we didn't have a ton of things to sell, but I actually took on the hustle of becoming a seller on Facebook Marketplace, on Poshmark, on Mercari. I mean, literally anywhere. I didn't do anything garage selling because we were in the middle and still are in the middle of a pandemic. But I decided, you know what? I'm gonna go through room by room and pick out the things that we don't need. And it became like a fun game for me. My closet was a big thing, kitchen appliances. I shared with you guys a couple videos ago that I had a really large juicer that I paid, I think like $220 for, and I ended up selling it for $70. So just like that, I sold something that I was like kind of on the fence with using, and I thought, you know what, let's get rid of it, give it to someone else who can use it and love it. And just like that, I had $70 to throw towards some debt. Same with my clothes through Poshmark. And I mean, Facebook Marketplace is an awesome place if you want to use it. You can also now ship from there. But really, we went through our entire home and was like, okay, we had a pile of things and we're like, okay, do we sell them? Do we keep them? And honestly, if we were questioning whether we needed to sell them or not, they usually went. But on top of becoming a seller, I actually became interested in buying and reselling. So this is another way that I added some income to the pot in the first few months, is I actually became very aware of the things that were selling really quickly on Facebook Marketplace, on Poshmark and Mercari. And then I would actually go out on the weekends to Goodwill, to thrift stores, and look for those items. I didn't spend a lot of time doing it, maybe an hour or two total on the weekend, because I didn't want to invest a ton of time and then, like, you know, not have the turnover be very high revenue. But this is something that people are very crafty at, very, very crafty. You can also sell on eBay if you want to. And if you are looking and interested in doing buying and reselling, I would actually look into a lot of the YouTube channels that do this, because honestly, it can be so lucrative if you take the time to do it. And again, this is a way that you can start up a side job without actually having to go to work. It's on your own terms. You set everything up, like I said, through Facebook Marketplace, even Poshmark or eBay, and you just go. And it's a really good way to make side money. Some out of the box things that we did that I feel like no one thinks of when it comes to paying off debt is to use resources that no one else thinks of. So these are some really good tips that I feel like everyone can use, whether you have a social media presence or not, but you can get your friends and family to sign up for, and you can put money in your pocket or credits in your pocket. So that will help you pay things off faster. I already mentioned, but that I truly love, is Poshmark. It is a clothes selling app, but they now do home goods on it as well. Go through your closet and list some things. You now have the option to do free shipping if you want to pay for it, which actually ups the ante when it comes to selling your clothes, because most people don't want to pay shipping. So if you take a little knock on what you're going to make, it's actually better than a yard sale. So for me, I went through my whole closet, and in a matter of a couple weekends, I picked a few things. If you want to shop my closet, I'll leave my Poshmark link below. If you've never used Poshmark, you can click the link and also sign up for it. Create your closet. This is something you can do in your own terms. If you have children, if you have a husband, if you have a partner, you can also sell some of their items and make yourself a big closet. And all you have to do is print the shipping label and put it in the mail, and the money is directly deposited into your Poshmark account, and then you can deposit that into your bank account. The other one I wanted to tell you about is actually Fetch Rewards. Now, I have heard about Fetch Rewards for a really long time, but it wasn't until recently that I decided to sign up for it, because my friend Lauren was like, girl, you are missing out, completely missing out. You're already buying the groceries, you're already buying the consumables, just scan your grocery receipts and earn points. So that's what I did, and I was so impressed that I actually just shared it a few videos back with you guys, and I've been sharing it over on Instagram, because she's right. Here's the thing. You're already going to go to the grocery store and buy what you're going to buy. Fetch Rewards actually just gives you points for those items or your entire receipt. The minimum you're going to get per receipt is 25 points, but if you buy something or a brand that gets additional points, you will earn additional points. Every 1,000 points is equivalent to about $1, and those rewards can be cashed out into Amazon rewards. When I shared this earlier on Instagram today, so many of you reached out and told me how much Fetch has helped you guys in your personal life when it comes to date nights and when it comes to Amazon. So many of you had said that it was so helpful to you when you were paying off your debt, and it still is, and I have to agree with you. Like I said, think outside of the box. Think of ways where you can create revenue that's not actual revenue. For me and my husband, having the Fetch Rewards account has been really helpful. So that way we can bank gift cards, and then now we can use them for date nights. We can now use Amazon gift cards to get things that we might need. And it's been super helpful. So again, we're turning out revenue, but it's not real revenue. It's just freeing up now cash on the other side. If you want to check out Fetch Rewards, I will link it down below. If you click my referral link, you'll actually get 2,000 bonus points just for scanning your first receipt. But here's the kicker. Once you sign up, make sure that you pass that on to your friends and family and just ask them, hey, please really help me out. Download the app, scan your first receipt, and please give me 2,000 bonus points. They never have to use the app if they don't want to. I mean, they're missing out if they're grocery shopping and buying consumables anyways, but ask your friends and family on Instagram, on Facebook, text them directly and say, hey, help me out, download this app and give me some referral points. And the more people you ask, because really it's not inconvenient at all to download an app. I mean, literally we're always on our phones, but the more points you can stock up, and then that will help your family in turn build up some points to add revenue to your personal finances. I hope you really enjoyed this video. I hope it created some inspiration within you. It made you think outside the box. You were able to take a couple tips and apply them to your own journey. But if not, I hope overall you feel encouraged and you feel like this is doable for you. Whether it takes you 6 months or it takes you 60 months, it doesn't matter. If you push really hard, believe in yourself, and know that you can do it, that's all that matters. Remember not to compare your journey to anyone else's. I know a lot of people share their journeys here on YouTube or Instagram, and we instantly start to compare and think like, gosh, I could never do that. I was one of those people who thought I could never do it. I literally thought, you know what, I'll pay a little bit more than the minimum payment and I'll carry this burden for the rest of my life. But one day I just woke up and decided to go for it, and decided, you know what, I want to be different. I don't want to have this burden of debt anymore. I want to do big things with my life. I'm 33 years old and enough is enough. So we got rid of it. Our next step is we're actually saving to buy our first home. And then our third and final step is we actually plan to adopt. So I share all of this on my YouTube, like I said, to encourage and to inspire, in hopes that someone out there that is feeling really discouraged and feeling like they can't do it clicks on this video and says, you know what? I can do this. I believe that I can do it, and therefore I can. So I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.